Mail time. Oh, package in a package, of course. Alright, smart plug, I'm guessing. Yes, it's another one of these. Let's make sure. Is it a Zigbee one? It says it's a Zigbee one, so that's a good thing. I like these little smart plugs. They are super useful. I'm able to just chuck them on anything, and then I can monitor its power usage. I think I've specifically got this one for the dishwasher, because the indicator lights on it don't really tell you a lot. It's hard to tell if it's sitting there during the heat cycle or if it's sitting there waiting to be unloaded. And here is, it's the specific to my iMac 17, the sticky stuff replacement, since I've been pulling it apart. Oh, it's the sticky stuff for an iMac 17, a sticky stuff replacement, since I've been pulling it apart. I got two of them, but they came in two separate packages, which is an interesting choice. And here's the RAM that I'm going to be upgrading, the 2017 21.5 inch iMac. So it's currently got only 8 gig of RAM at, I think it was 2600 megahertz, where this is, well, it doesn't say it on the packaging, so I sure as heck hope that they pick the right one. But this is supposed to be 2 8 gig sticks running at 3200 megahertz. So not only an increase in RAM, but a massive increase in RAM speed. So that should take away this sluggish feeling that I'm getting from this iMac. Shut down. Now, the Apple device is shutting down, allowing me to finally install some extra RAM in it and get it to a nice working pace. And no, I don't really ever interact with it with this mouse and keyboard, other than the fact that it won't let me set that account to auto login, because I guess it's the administrator account and has a strong password. That's the only time I actually interact with the device itself. Otherwise, I just remote control it from my main computer using Rust Disk. If you saw my last video, you would have seen that I received my RAM sticks for this iMac computer. But I will admit that I did make a fatal mistake. You see, if I was familiar with the Apple ecosystem, then I would have known that they are very picky on what hardware they use where. So I got the wrong clock speed RAM for this Mac and spent a whole lot of time pulling it apart and trying to diagnose the issue for nothing. And I ended up just having to put the original RAM right back in this Mac just to make it work, which took up a fair amount of time. If you haven't noticed yet, I put a little progress bar at the bottom of the screen to indicate how far through these boring parts of videos you are. Well, looks like the 2 sticks I ordered were the wrong ones. I spent 102 minutes working on this iMac just to put it right back the way it was.
But that's my fault. I chose the wrong model of this stick. Everything was somewhat right, though apparently it can't handle this clock speed, which I didn't bother looking up. And it can't handle this type of density. It needs a different specific type of density, which Mac hardware will actually allow. Thanks, Mac. 2017 when this thing came out, I thought we'd solved all of these issues and made everything a bit more universal, but I guess not. Apple likes to be picky on some things, but it's not all Apple's fault. I should have read some documentation and made sure I was ordering the right part rather than just jumping in and ordering the first thing I saw. So I've got this old laptop from 2012. It's probably the thinnest, lightest laptop I have, even though it's not very thin and not very light, but it is 10 times smaller, thinner and lighter than my other main use laptop. But it's also super slow. This is from 2012 and it was slow back then, so it's even worse now. It's got Windows 10 on it with the latest updates and stuff, and it can barely open a web browser. It's also got a spinning disk hard drive in it. I don't have an SSD replacement, but I will be installing Linux on this. Initially, I was opening this up so that I could install a larger hard drive into it, but then I found in the past I had actually already installed a 128GB SSD in it, and a hard drive is only going to slow me down more. So, putting it back together and having a quick check on the RAM to make sure both slots are full, I then get to installing the operating system, which took forever. I've installed Linux on a fair number of computers, and this has probably been one of the slowest. But that's no surprise, given this is simply a Pentium dual core running at 1.6 GHz. And there it is, nicely set up with a nice watchtower background. That was a fun little game I've never played, but I like the art from it. It's great, and I like the aesthetic of it. I'm only setting up this laptop and going to be using this laptop so that I've got a nice small thin laptop that I can pull out at work and do little things in between jobs when I have downtime. I get 5 or 10 minutes here or there that I just sit there and twiddle my thumbs for a bit. So I'd rather use that time to do something so that I'm not doing nothing. The unfortunate thing, which I'm not sure if I've mentioned, is no battery. This battery that was in it is completely stuffed. You plug it in, doesn't matter how long it's been sitting there on charge for. I left it overnight, 0% the whole time. Pull that power out and gone. So, no battery for this laptop, which is unfortunate, but another advantage of using Linux is that it's got a reasonably fast startup and shutdown time. So if I just hit the power button, it will start shutting down, and there we go. Bless you. It's freaking smoking. Sorry for the lack of information here, but I found that the health of my skateboard was a little more important than filming its destruction. You see, when I came running up there in that clip, that was because initially I was going to be riding the board up that steep incline for the 4th time, bear in mind, to get a shot of me coming up at a high speed and then turning and going the other way to show off the capabilities of this board. But instead, one of the motors began pouring out with thick black smoke, as well as the board having significantly less power. I don't want to damage this any more than it may already be. Thus starting the long walk home, dragging my board behind me, even as one of the wheels is locking up.
With my board having issues aside,
It's freaking smoking.
I have spent the rest of my time working. It's been a little bit busy with work and I've had to travel reasonably far away, and well, I tried to get a sunrise shot here, but as you can see I aimed it far too high and the sun was hiding behind the clouds. So whilst I was in a reasonably picturesque spot, there wasn't really a lot you could see. So it was mainly working and traveling and working at different locations and weather and traveling. After all that travel and work, the next bit of free time I spent in the roof of my mum's house running the cables all around to where they need to be, as well as outside running cables into the roof to be run to where they need to be, attaching the ends to those cables and testing them, as well as installing and aiming the security cameras going up around the exterior of the house. Mail time. Package in a package. Okay, the camera died in a really weird way that time, but anyway, continuing on with mail time. It's some really boring stuff. So it's just some clips to hold up curtain. Just needed some more clips. AliExpress, $2. The shop downtown, $20. And in this one, we have... Whoa. Yeah. HDMI to VGA, which will be mildly useful if I ever need to use my projector, because I also lost the old one of those that I had. A very similar model, but it was bigger and bulkier. Anyway. And the other cable is an HDMI to DVI cable. Just wanted to have a single cable rather than having to use adapters. And then we've got our two packages in a package that was in a package, which are... Oh, got a USB cable there. It is a wireless charger. There we go, nice fast wireless charger. Thought I'd try out one of the non-magnetic ones, since all my other wireless chargers are the magnetic ones. This could be quite useful, or absolutely useless. We'll see. And then the last thing is, another power brick wall wart thing. I've definitely got a handful of them now, but this is the first white one of this kind that I've ordered. So, this should be useful. Goes up to 12 volts. With 77 days until Halloween, I've finally picked up these pellets that I see on the side of the road on the way home from work all the time. And it's time to at least look at starting the build. After unloading all of the pellets, I began to completely pull them apart, saving all screws and as much wood as possible. Don't expect anything great out of this. I haven't done woodwork since high school, and that was too long ago. And this is pretty much how the video is going to end. You're just going to watch me during a time lapse doing all of this manual labor.
Yeah.